Hello, everyone, and welcome to the United Creed podcast. We got a very special guest today, Andrew Sendejo. He is a retired NFL veteran who played for 12 seasons in the NFL, and he is now the founder and CEO of BrainTree, where he is helping Texans find wellness through his brain health supplements. So we're honored to have him today. He's a friend of mine. We grew up playing sports together, grew up in the same community, so we've become good friends over the years. And I can honestly say that everyone in our community, man, we're real proud of you. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, so tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, man. Like, how'd you grow up and what inspired you to do football and become the founder and CEO of BrainTree?
You know, I think like yourself, grew up playing sports, every sport you could, no matter what it was. But growing up in South Texas, you know, you have to play football at some point in your life.
Exactly.
So I was a soccer player all growing up, loved soccer, thought I was going to be a professional soccer player. And I could never play football because they overlapped in the fall. Yeah. And when I got to middle school, that all changed and my whole life changed because you know how the high school coaches come in and they kind of take over the middle school. And I always tell everybody from 7th grade on, football basically took over my life.
Yeah,
it was something that I was naturally good at, was more of a physical type player. I fouled out of all my AAU basketball games with the Golden Knights.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Yeah, I had some big shoes to fill the Golden Knights after you left. Soccer, you know, getting carded quite often. And then I started playing football and I was like, you can you will get to this is
you're
part
allowed
of it.
to
You're
do
allowed
this.
to do this. And I was like, holy cow. And so same thing. It was just kind of more of a physical player. Was very fortunate to grow up where we did, where football was a huge deal. It was a foundation of my athletic career and my football career. Right. And I think just from where I grew up, how I grew up, I was like, this is my path to to get out of here kind of.
Right.
And so was focused on going to college. Was going to be the first person in my family to go to college.
Yeah.
And really I was only focused on just the education part. My mom harped on me a ton. She's like, if you're in the top 10%,
yeah,
you can at least get accepted. And that's all I cared about at first. And then I was like, I can get a scholarship and then I don't have to pay for anything. Right. So that was the next goal. It was kind of these little check marks of be in the top 10% academically.
Right.
And let's at least get any school to pay for my college. And then eventually was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to Rice.
Yeah.
Went there, started all 4 years, and then was undrafted out of Rice and unsigned. I went and played in the original UFL in 2010 for the Sacramento Mountain Lions. Yeah. People always are like, wait, Dante Culpepper was your quarterback? And I'm like, yeah, that's how, he was right at the end of his career.
Yeah.
So it was fortunate for a league like that to give me a place to play in order to go to the NFL. I got picked up out of the UFL to the Dallas Cowboys in 2010, my rookie year. Was there for a hot second, went to the Jets for a hot second, kind of did the oh my gosh, is this going to work?
Right.
A white Mexican safety in the NFL is not really a
not
thing.
Not many of those.
Yeah,
right?
So, coming out of a small school, you just don't really have a name to yourself. You're not some highly touted draft prospect, right?
Right.
Finally found a home in Minnesota in 2011. Was there all the way to 2019. I went to Cleveland in 2020, Indianapolis in 2021.
Man.
And then retired in 2023. And while I was playing in the NFL, in all my 12 years, there still weren't any safe, transparent, banned substance-free products that helped with focus, memory, and neuroprotection. You really only could get a prescription like an Adderall if you had a therapeutic use exemption through the NFL, which you have to go to a 2-day interview with a doctor, and then they have to see that you've had a history of ADHD since you were a child.
Oh, wow.
And so because there was no products like this, we essentially had to formulate a line of products that helped with all these areas of cognitive health.
Yeah.
So focus, memory, neuroprotection, all the repetitive TBIs, concussions, things like that, to give guys a natural ingredient to help with ADHD symptoms, to help with all these the anti-inflammatory of just the repetitive hits to the head, and give guys a natural option that's efficacious and backed by human clinical studies with the ingredients we use to help them in these areas. There's a huge mental part of the game, as you know.
Sure.
So it was a big part, that was a big part of it for us. And so wanted to launch that really just kind of for ourselves and our teammates. We actually didn't even really have kind of like a go-to-market strategy or anything. We did everything completely backwards, like most like young entrepreneur, like athlete guys were like, we kind of were like, we need this and our teammates need that. And then that kind of waterfalled into addressing different areas of cognitive health. So the gut-brain connection, the cortisol reduction, stress and anxiety relief, sleep, which is like the foundation of basically everything, and then hydration is another huge part of cognitive function. Just kind of, and wanted to lay it out for people to where they don't have to think about what are some things I can take to kind of improve and optimize my brain health and my cognitive health. It's like, here, we just kind of laid it out for you. Like, here's like 5 different products that check off these different areas. And so we pride ourselves on having transparent labels for a multi-ingredient products. There's a lot of products out there that have multi-ingredients, but they're all kind of washed into this proprietary blend. And so you don't actually know what you're getting because they put a lot of fillers and things like that. It gets a little dicey, you know? And so like our whole mission this whole time was to make brain health affordable and available. So we want you to see what's in there, and so that I'm getting an effective dose of that. And so we also pride ourselves just on our manufacturing processes. We do everything all in Texas. So we source the ingredients, mix the batches, make the product, distribute it all from our facility in Bastrop. So we basically have eyes on the entire process all the way through from start to finish, and just eliminates any issues with potential batches getting contaminated, or different things like that. Like, you're in control through the whole process. So it allows us to give our customers a quality product that we know is going to be accurate, the dose is right, and we've been there through the whole process. There's a lot of companies out there that are typically on like an Amazon or something where there's not a huge vetting process on the products going in there. That they've never even seen the product the whole time. They get it manufactured and made in China. It gets drop shipped to a warehouse for Amazon, and then they just have a bunch of graphics and things made, and they might not have ever seen the product the whole time. You have no idea what's in it, where it's from. So there's parts of that
that's eye-opening right there.
It is, yeah. So that's why we try to advise the people, like, supplements, like, you should do your research and kind of see, like, where was this made at? Is it made in America? Is it like, where is it manufactured? Things like that. Just so you kind of know, like, you're getting what you're paying for. And so basically we're manufactured in the highest standard you can get, right under like an FDA regulated product, essentially. So that's kind of where we try to differentiate ourselves and pride ourselves to kind of change the stigma with supplements. Also, just about supplements, like, supplements are supposed to supplement your diet. They're not supposed to be your entire diet. Like, the first thing I tell people is not like, hey, you should take my BrainTree nutrition products. I'm like, okay, well, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping well? Are you getting to bed on time? How much caffeine are you drinking? What are you eating? Are you hydrating? Like, all the staples that you should do first. And then if those don't work, then that's when a supplement comes in to kind of like help you out.
You get on track,
but this, like, that's how you know I'm not a slimy salesman, because like I can be like, oh, I have a product for sleep right here. Which I will say that sometimes, every now and then, for fun. But I'm like, when's your last cup of coffee in the day? Like, what are you doing at night to are you turning down the lights? Are you looking at screens? There's all these different areas that you could actually naturally get better sleep. And then a good night's sleep is the best cognitive enhancer that there is. To reset everything, to reinforce like memory, all these different cognitive areas are all based on sleep. Your diet is based on sleep. So yeah, there's just a lot of areas there. And so that's what I've been working on full time since I retired, and just really trying to help people, help myself, help my family, to give people better options, safer options, efficacious options, to improve their cognitive health, longevity, and just overall life.
Absolutely.
So that was like literally, how long was that? Like 5 minutes of just like word vomit right there?
No, it wasn't word vomit. It was
Hell yeah.
actually very helpful info.
Yes.
It's really it's a great story, man. Your story is really a testament to hard work, dedication. Like you took advantage of every opportunity you had, man, and like you earned your way to the top. And in the league for 12 years, starting most of them. So talk a little bit about that. Like, what did it take to do that? To be that guy, man, that made it.
You have
That
to be a
stuck
little
with
bit
you.
of a psychopath.
Yeah.
You have to be, I always would tell people, just looking back on my career, like, I wish I would have been more confident early on.
Yeah.
So like everything that you're doing, like you should have that confidence. Like, I'm a 12-year NFL starter.
Right.
When I think back to like high school, as like a 2-star recruit, if I would have known that I was going to go to a Division 1A college and be a starter as a true freshman, I would have walked out on the field with a way bigger dick. Like, like I'd have been like, dude, I'm the fucking man. And even though it wasn't like a UT or an Alabama, whatever, just a Division 1, college, like, still. And then to be in college and then not know, like, if I would have known, like, hey, I'm going to go be an NFL, like, starter, like, for,
Exactly.
I'm
Right.
playing the NFL for 12 years, like, I would have played much more confident. And then the same, just even when I got to the league, like, I was trying to make the team, like, I mean, at least my first 4 to 5 years, like, I was on the bubble as a special teamer,
Right.
just scratch and claw and just making sure I made the team, right? And the same thing of, like, knowing, like, I'm starter material, like, I belong
Right.
here. But I think a lot of it was just, like, you have to at sometimes be a little delusional, almost, like, where you're like, there's plays that you see and you're like, you kind of know inside, you're like, dude, I'm not athletic enough to make that. But you have to, like, have this mind kind of, you have to do this little mental gymnastics where you're like, no,
I
I
can
could,
compete.
I
Yeah,
could do that. Yeah.
yeah.
And so it was a lot of just, like, confidence, like, not ever getting down on yourself of, like, if things weren't going well,
Right.
maybe, like, just like anybody in any aspect of, like, having a little slump,
Right. Mentally tough. You got to be mentally tough.
Yeah, you
right?
gotta be a mentally tough bastard,
Yeah.
for sure. And that's why I say, like, you almost have to be, like, a little bit of a psychopath, where, like,
Right.
you have to. I mean, I tell people this all the time. Like, in football, you could, all within like 30 seconds, you can, like, give up a huge play, get embarrassed as shit, on national TV in
Right.
front of like 80,000 people, and then, like, you have 30 seconds to, like, regroup and reassess a whole new situation of, like,
Yeah.
okay, now they're on the 20-yard line going in. There's this much time on the clock.
Yeah.
Like, they have this person on the game. Like, this guy's lined up here. We're in this call. These are the plays they like to run. This is the score.
Right.
They need to score a touchdown. And, like, you start going. You don't have time to, like, sit there and
Right.
and have a pity party. And so you
Right.
have to be, like, this
Short
kind of
memory.
psychopath that's like,
Yeah.
oh, it doesn't even matter. And you just kind of keep going.
Right.
And so that has trained me to not get frustrated, or I guess to not, like, worry in, like,
Yeah.
high stress
Don't sweat the small
situations. You just,
stuff,
like,
right?
have to,
Yeah.
like, literally, like, keep going. So
Exactly. What about the workout part and the diet part? Like, what did that look like as a professional athlete? Like, what do you have to do?
yeah, I think even for me, like, not being the fastest, not very long, not very rangy guy, to me was like, okay, at least if I can play harder for longer,
Right.
like, I can run to the ball harder than other guys. I might not be as fast,
Right.
but to me, it was just like, I have to be as in good a shape as I possibly can, have to be as strong as I possibly can, as lean as I possibly can.
Right.
So I always took my diet very serious, very clean, very lean. Needed to minimize any excess body weight that would slow me down, because I was not, the fastest guy out there. And I don't know if you, like, I have to cover guys that are like Tyreek Hill, that are just, like, light years faster than me. So you just, like, you need
Yeah.
every edge you can get, right?
Absolutely.
So, man, a lot of long, hot summers, like, getting ready for camp. That's what I think back to, is, like, all of July, you're getting ready for training camp, and all your friends are, like, on the boat and, like, having a good time and doing
Yeah.
all this stuff, and you're like, I have to train. And they're
Yeah.
like, but people that don't play sports don't know what training is. They think like, oh, you just got to go like lift some weights. I'm like, no, you got to train. Like
Yeah.
you're training for a specific moment in time of like fourth quarter, like game on the line type. And
exactly.
so a lot of sacrifice during those times, a lot of like just pain. Like you're like sore all the time. You're just like everything you do in football is painful. Like you're working out, you're pushing through pain.
Were you training every day in the summers? Or?
In the summers, not every day, but I mean basically 5 to 6 days. And kind of block it off.
You're doing, I mean, obviously lifting weights, you're running. Like, are you running bleachers? You running?
It depended on the programming, but typically like 4 days of running, 4 days of lifting. Like you're essentially doing like a 2 a day and kind of training your body to do a 2 a day. We didn't have actual 2 days in the NFL starting my second year. But you do go in the morning and do like walkthroughs and jog throughs. So you're still out bouncing around and running around and stuff. And then you have to come back and practice later. So it was training your body to get active 2 different times during the day.
Right.
So I would, like, I already knew what our training camp schedule was like. So I would literally go like work out at those exact times so that my body would start to like naturally get used to.
Right.
And I would actually, like going back to like the psycho thing, like I would train in the heat of the day, like in Texas in the summer, and it'd be like 104.
Yeah.
Because that's sometimes with full pads and a helmet, it's going to feel like 104. But yeah, I did typically like lift in the morning, you know, and then I would go out in the heat and go run in the afternoon. So some days were worked on just straight speed, like top line speed, some acceleration, change direction. And then as a DB, you have to do like some type of ball drills.
Of course.
And so I would get my one of my college quarterbacks that lives in Austin, and I'd say, hey, get your ass out here and come throw me the ball. So he loved it. So he'd come out and I'd just be like, just fucking throw him deep, man. Like, let's go do some long balls.
Yeah.
And so it was a pretty rigorous schedule. And then you know, at the end of the week, you're pretty sore. So like, you're not doing shit on Saturday or Sunday except kind of recovering, maybe some light, I don't know, something that you want to miss, maybe some like biceps or something, some arms or something.
Some curls for girls.
Yes.
Got to do that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about who's the, like, just for our listeners, let's learn a little bit. Who's the hardest dude in the NFL to tackle? Who was it? In your era, you retired in 21. You played the 21 season, right?
21, yeah. So
and then you retired.
I would say like just like the big name guys that were hard to tackle were like Marshawn Lynch.
Oh man, yeah.
Was like I have this clip of me tackling him, and I basically just had to like wrap onto him and just fall down.
Just truck.
But I was about like this close to getting stiff armed into the earth, like for sure. I mean, I think about receivers too that were just like big receivers, like Julio Jones, a big ass receiver.
Yeah, that's got to be tough, man.
They're just guys like that are just so big and so fast that it's insane. They're just so big, but again, all human and they all fall down. So, got to play against Derrick Henry a couple times.
Yeah.
You know, any of the big backs, but
that dude is real.
Yeah. God, whenever in Green Bay, Eddie Lacy was a nightmare to tackle.
He's huge, right?
Yeah. He's like, and their legs are so big.
Yeah.
You know, your coach is like, go low. And I'm like, his legs are bigger than his torso. Like, it's actually worse.
What was your approach? The best way to hit a dude like that that's just got huge tree trunk legs?
It just depended on
where he
the
is.
angle, like where you're at, how much momentum you have. So, like, if you're in the open field and you're kind of squared up, like, to me, it was just, we call it any tackle. Any fucking way you can get this guy on the ground. Like, you just grab him and hold on. They don't keep stats on, like, how you tackled him. They just keep a stat that you tackled him.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, if I'm running from across the field and I have momentum, like, I'm just going to knife you in the legs.
Right.
And a lot of times, too, you can even, I would just kind of, like, stutter, and then I would just, like, drop down to a knee and just kind of, like, trip them up. Like, ass over tea kettle type. So there's all different. You just kind of have to have. We'd actually have every week going into a game, depending on the back. If the back was, you know, a big threat, we'd have like a tackling strategy. Like you would break it all the way down to like, here's our tackling like strategy for the week. Like if you get him in this situation, do this. That way, you already have your decision made up.
Exactly.
And when you're going there, you're not even like it's already. You
just execute.
Yeah, it's already been decided. You just kind of go in there and do it. So.
That's always what I wondered, man. Those guys are so big. It's like, how do you what do you do with that?
You
know?
just, I think at a certain point,
You get big yourself,
you
right?
you just at a certain point you have to stop caring if you're gonna get up after the play or not. You know,
Yeah.
like once you realize that you're probably gonna get up after the play and be just fine.
Yeah.
You know, like then after that it's like kind of whatever. You're like, I'm gonna be fine.
So tell us your favorite play of your whole career. Tell us a story. What was that like?
Favorite play, I would probably go. Favorite play would probably be, I mean, I kind of have to say like my first NFL play ever.
Yeah.
Although like nothing happened except I did miss a tackle, which is kind of hilarious. So my first NFL play was in 2010. It was a Sunday night,
Yeah.
Cowboys
Watched
Eagles.
that one. Yeah.
I don't even like. This is how oblivious I was. I was just so deer in the headlights. I didn't even know that was like the biggest rivalry. Like I had no idea what was going on. I was just out there like,
Hey,
holy.
I'm playing some special teams, baby.
Basically, like, and like that was the first game that activated me. They literally only put me on kickoff on special teams. They didn't put me on anything else.
Yeah.
They're like, want to see if you can like do anything. And I was just out there like, holy shit. And I'm like, this is the NFL. Run down on kickoff, which I mean probably takes 5 to 6 seconds. And then I was kind of like the safety on kickoff where I kind of just like overlap and fill. And then the guy breaks through and I kind of like dove at his legs, missed him, someone else tackled him. And I swear it happened like that the whole entire play.
Yeah.
And I ran off the field thinking like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah. This is
the
fast.
NFL. I was like, that was so fast. Like, I don't even know what just happened.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, I'll never make it in this league. I was like, dude, I have no chance.
Hey, but you stuck with it, man.
Yeah. And so I would say that one, and then probably my first career interception.
Yeah.
It was like this snowy game in Baltimore. Joe Flacco had just won Super Bowl MVP the year before.
Right.
Ravens are still really solid. And just like, I actually wasn't even covering the tight end like very well at all. Like he was wide open, but Flacco just threw like a bad ball in the snow. I just kind of came out of nowhere and just had to dive for it and catch it.
That's awesome.
And that was
man.
cool to have that first
Pick
career
off a
interception.
Super Bowl MVP. Like no
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, no,
It's all good.
It felt good. Yeah, and it was just cool. It was like backyard football in the snow, just snowy as hell.
Yeah.
Snow everywhere, freezing cold, no sleeves. Like I mean, I couldn't even hold on to the ball barely. It was so like slippery and wet and cold. I just like grabbed it like this. Luckily, I went down as soon as I caught it. The guy touched me. Otherwise, like I'm not even sure I would have been able to like grab it and run with it.
Take advantage of the opportunity, though, right?
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the play I remember, talking about favorite plays, I'm gonna flash us back to the 2003 Smithson Valley Rangers team, baby. We were playing Jamal Charles.
Ever heard of him?
Yeah, exactly. That dude was pretty fast himself, and
Fast as shit.
I saw you light him up on one of those bubble screens. And then, a few years later, you keep on that hard-hitting reputation. You get the make football violent again, hats going and all that good stuff. Where did all that come from?
Oh, man. So, like we spoke about, just naturally just like a physical player. And I think it was more of just that was my skill set. Like I wasn't known as a ball hawk. I wasn't like that wasn't my thing. I was just like, it was probably because I was slow too. So I was like late to the play. So I could hit you like right as you caught it. But that was I kind of realized like, I was like, this is my niche. Like I'm like the physical guy, like they're, so I was like, that's my role. I'm just going to embody that role. I like it anyways. So in 2018, the NFL changed all of these. They started enforcing a lot of like new rules that were a little ridiculous, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, I guess
totally changed the game.
Yeah, I guess
Totally
back to
changed it.
2017, if you really started like 2017, I think it was like one of the first games of the year on a primetime game. A guy got he got stood up and then the linebacker came in and like smoked him right in the face. Had to get like stretchered off, right?
Yeah.
Anytime something happens in a primetime game and all of America sees it, the NFL says you got to do something about that to make sure people know we're doing our part to keep the game safe, right?
Right.
So for the rest of that 2017 season, anything that was like remotely close to that, they suspended you for a whole game. So 2017 had a hit like knock this guy out, lay there on, he's on the turf, whatever. So they suspend me for a game. So like then I got fined like 2 more times that season for like hits to the head, and it's just the game's happening so fast. I'm like, I can't even. If I wanted to hit that guy in the head, I would miss. Like I'm just going to hit this body.
Play,
I'm like, you know how fast this is happening? I can't see shit. And like half the time my eyes are closed. You know, so
just hoping for the
literally,
best.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing out here. So like 2018 comes, I'm already on like the offenders list. You have to basically clear a whole year without a hit to the head to like kind of get off this list. Otherwise, you're like a repeat offender, and your fine is like double or triple.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So 2018, they instilled this new rule, and they're trying to say that you had to hit with your face mask only. Like if you hit with like any other part of your helmet, that it was like you were leading with the head. And it started with, I made a joke, and I taped a face mask to the crown of my helmet.
That's hilarious.
And I like tweeted out at like the NFL and like some other stuff. Kind of got some buzz to it, but then I found this hat from a buddy of mine that said "Make football violent again." I was like, "Holy, that's me."
That is you.
And I'd been wearing it all spring, all training camp, and then finally they like talked about the rule one day. And then I was wearing it in a walkthrough during training camp.
Yeah.
And someone from the Minnesota media like snapped a pic, and it has like my name across the back of the jersey.
Yeah.
Like there was no mistaking who it was.
Yeah. We'll pop
and like
that
Sports Center posted it, and all these different people posted it. And then I became like the Make Football Violent Again guy, which I thought was hilarious because people would ask me just to sign that. They didn't even ask for my name. Like they were like, "Can you sign Make Football Violent Again?" I'm like, "Do you want my autograph too?" They're like, "No."
Yeah. No, I just want to hear. I just want the Make Football
Violent. Yeah,
again.
I'm like, okay, cool. So it kind of like became this thing.
So you've been known for a long time as a dude that brings it, right? So like, and obviously you've known that brain health is going to be just as important as physical health, right?
Yes.
Because of all of that, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about how, you alluded to it earlier about, you saw the need because you're bringing the wood. Like all your friends, all your buddies are too. So you need something there. When did you really start to learn about that? And then like, tell us a little bit more about how our listeners can find you and learn a little bit more.
Yeah, I think whenever I was like 30. I was going into like my 10th year or so, 9th or 10th year. And I just started to have a lot of like late onset ADHD symptoms. And something that that was my strong suit, was kind of the mental part of the game, memorizing the plays, staying focused in the meetings, attentive, all those things. And I was like, man, I feel like I'm like really scatterbrained and kind of like, I'm like, is this what ADHD is? Like, I don't know. So like we talked about earlier, I went to the team doc, and you have to go through like a 2-day interview because Adderall is a banned substance. So in order to get approved to take a banned substance in the NFL, they're going to make sure that you actually have what you have.
Right.
Long story short, went to the 2-day interview. She's like, look, if you were a guy off the street, like she's like, you have all the symptoms. You definitely have this, but the NFL is not going to approve this ADHD medication because you don't have a long enough history of it. So they're not going to approve it. So I can't give you anything, which actually I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now about Adderall and the long-term effects and what it does to your brain.
Right.
And so that's when I really started to like dive into like the nootropic neuroprotection space. My co-founder, he also went to Rice. His mom is our neurologist.
Wow.
So like between all of us and like kind of our knowledge in the supplement space, we started to kind of go down that path of like researching what are like the top ingredients that help with these areas.
Right.
Getting publications from his mom that she would get in these different like neurology kind of publications, and just doing like our own research as well of like what's actually an effective dose for this. What does it do? There's some of those studies that some of them are hard to understand on like the results. So that's where you can use like someone to like go through it that has read through studies and be like, what is this actually saying?
Yeah.
I think it's saying this, but And so that we just kind of went down that path of like, man, this is something we need. This is something I need.
Right.
My mom needs, my teammates, like it was
Yeah.
like just this whole thing.
There's a need
And
for it. Yeah.
there was a need for it. And like when I really was looking at it, I'm like, what else can you take? Like there's not, there's the natural products that like are, you can get from food, but like there's some of these ingredients that you can't get from food. And
Right.
so that's where there are some other things that you can take to like help supplement this area. And that's kind of how it all like started to snowball and to make it. And so, but if you ever want to check out and learn, we also like to like educate people and like teach them about, not just the supplement side. Like go to the blog part and go look at our blog at BrainTreeNutrition.com.
Okay.
On the blog there's different. We kind of give you tips and tricks, different brain health, fitness, wellness, sleep. All different areas. We do highlight some of the ingredients, how they help, what they do, but everything you want to learn about the story, kind of what's in the products,
Right.
everything like that, it's all at BrainTreeNutrition.com. You can go check us out there. You can find us on socials at Take BrainTree.
Okay.
And then hopefully soon we'll be in every single HEB and Central Market in Texas. Just
That's
continue.
right. Keep the Texas spirit going,
That's
baby.
what I'm saying, man. Texas boys making it in Texas, helping Texans. Obviously, we'd love to help everyone else too, which we do. Obviously from our website, ship all over the United States and even internationally from time to time when someone finds us. But we love to take care of our own backyard, so to speak, and Texas is big enough too. So
absolutely. Well, for the record, I don't think that sounds psychopathic at all. This dude is doing good things for people, and I get it, man. I get it. You had quite a journey. The brain mentality that you had through all of that, through all of the physical stuff, man, and through all of the, like you say you have to be a psycho in a little bit of a way, but really just kind of I think what you mean by that is you got to be a little bit selfish, right? If you're going to go
damn selfish,
if you're going to go after all the things that you achieved, right?
I agree. That's kind of what, and part of this too that I love is like throughout my whole, since like high school, it's like I've had to be so selfish with football to take care of like, what do I have to do to get a scholarship? And then in college, like, what do I have to do to get to the NFL? And then the NFL, what do I have to do to maintain this career and maximize it? So it was a very selfish way of life of like, no, I can't go do that. Like I have to go work out. Well, I have to go get a massage. I have to go get my meals prepped. I have to like all these things that were about I. And you got to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. And so I had to take care of myself, but now is my chance to take care of others and to help. And right now my way of helping is through BrainTree Nutrition.
Absolutely, man. We're thrilled to have you on and learn about it. And I hope we can do this again sometime real soon.
Hell yeah.
But until then, let's be golden.
Yes, sir. Be golden.
All right, man.
Thanks, bub.
Thank you for tuning in to the United Creed podcast. We are a 501c3 nonprofit that provides funding for cancer patients to receive cutting-edge treatments that aren't currently covered by health insurance, while also fostering inner wellness through Freedom Prayer Ministry. I would like to invite you to go to theunitedcreed.com and donate $20 a month to our cause. That's just 65 cents a day, which isn't much, but your donation is literally an answer to thousands of prayers. Take my story, for example. My community rallied around me and raised money so that I could receive immunosine dendritic cell treatments, which isn't currently covered by health insurance. I'm happy to report that I'm in good health and enjoying excellent quality of life. And this treatment wouldn't have been possible for me without the compassion of my community. So this is what inspired my wife and I to form the United Creed. Our goal is to inspire 50,000 people to subscribe to giving $20 a month to our cause. That would raise enough money to cover 100% of immunosine dendritic cell treatments and travel for over 100 cancer patients every single year. So please go to theunitedcreed.com and click the donate button today. Together, we can bring unity and perseverance for the cancer community. I know it because I've witnessed it. So thank you, and God bless.